This is 3-3, writing functions. Some vocabulary. The independent variable is the x value. We talked about this in 3-1, and the dependent variable would be the y variable. The dependent variable depends on the independent variable. We can represent functions in a variety of ways. So in 3-2, we learned how to represent a function using a table, mapping, and graphing. We're going to also be learning how to write equations and functions. So an equation is what you're used to, the y equals mx plus b. That's a linear equation. You learned a little bit about that last year, y equals mx plus b. And now we're also going to be talking about function notation. Function is replacing the y with f of x. It's really the same idea, but now that we know a function is when there's no double in the domain. So, and every domain value has exactly one range value, but that's how we write the function notation, so f of x instead of y. They're pretty much interchangeable otherwise. Okay, in order to write a function or write an equation, we're going to need to see what's happening from the x to the y value. So is there addition or subtraction happening? Is there multiplication or division happening? So for the first x to the y, it could be 1, what's happening to the 1 by adding or subtracting to end up at -2? Well, that could be 1 minus 3 to get the -2, or it could be 1 times -2 to end up with -2. But now I'm going to try that for the next ordered pair. So to get from 2 to -1, from 2, and we're going to end up at -1. Am I subtracting 3? Well, is 2 minus 3 -1? Yes, it is. And if I did 2 times -2, the same from above, does that end up at -1? No, it doesn't. And so therefore, it is the 2 minus 3. This part is the same every time. The minus 3 is the same every time. So basically, I'm taking the x value and subtracting 3 every single time, and that gets me the y, so that's equal to y. And so you can check this now. So the first y value, -2, is equal to 1 minus 3, the x value, 1 minus 3. So just check that one. Now I'm going to check this one. The x value was 2. So -1, the y value from the blue, equals 2, and then I'm going to try that minus 3 again. Well, 2 minus 3 is -1, so this one works, and we continue to check. If we do 3 and 0, then I would get the y value 0 is equal to the x value 3 minus 3. 3 minus 3 is 0. That one works as well, and I think you have the idea at this point. Okay, in example B, what's happening to the x to get to the y? Well, it looks like to get from 1 to 3, I could possibly add 2, or 1 times 3. I could multiply by 3 and get 3. So I'm looking to see if I'm adding 2 or multiplying by 3. Well, let's try to add 2 in here. 2 plus 2 would get me 4, so this is not working. What about times 3? 2 times 3 is 6, yes. What about times 3 in this one? 3 times 3 is 9, that works. And 4 times 3 is 12. So every time we're taking the x value and we're multiplying by 3. X times 3, or we can write that in a better way as 3x, and that equals my y value. And so I'll just check one of these. If I take the 1, 3, well, the y value is 3 is equal to the 3 times the x value, which is 1. 3 equals 3 times 1 is 3. And you could check all of them. That rule works for every one of them. So y equals 3x is my rule. Okay, now we're going to be identifying the independent and dependent variables in each situation. So remember that the dependent depends on the independent. So the dance committee is selling tickets to the fall ball. The more tickets that they sell, the greater the amount of money they can spend for decorations. So does the amount of money they make depend on the tickets, or do the amount of tickets depend on the amount of money? Since the amount of money depends on the number of tickets sold, that would make our independent variable the number of tickets, and the dependent variable the amount of money spent on the decorations. So number of tickets sold and the money spent on decorations. Okay, example B, it says generally the average price of going to the movies is steadily increased over time. So does the time depend on the price of the movie, or does the price of the movie depend on the time? And since it's the price of the movie depending on the time, we'll write time as our independent variable and the price of the movie as our dependent variable. Okay, we need to identify the independent and dependent variables and write an equation in function notation. So example A, a lawyer's fee is $200 per hour for her services. Since the fee depends on the number of hours, our fee would be our dependent and our independent would be the number of hours. And then to be able to write a function, let's think about this as an XY table. X is the independent variable, so the number of hours, and the dependent would be the fee, the amount of money. So if someone came to the lawyer for 1 hour, say, I'm just making up a number here. If it's 1 hour, how much would it cost? $200. If it was 2 hours, how much would the fee be? $400. And if it's 3 hours, it would be $600. And so we want to see, remember, to write a function, write an equation in function notation, we want to see what's happening from the x to the y. Every time, what's happening to get from the x to the y? From the x to the y, well, each time we're multiplying by $200. So each one we're multiplying by $200. So we're taking the x value and we're multiplying by 200. And that gets us our y. So to write this in function notation then, instead of writing y there, we would write f of x equals 200x. Okay, example B, the admission fee to a local carnival is $8. Each ride costs $1.50. So let's see which one's the independent or the dependent variable. The total cost is going to depend on how many rides someone goes on. So the dependent is the cost, and the independent would be the number of rides. And so let's make an XY table to see what happens. So XY table. So if you just walk into the carnival and you don't go on any rides at all, it's going to cost $8. We're going to be adding $8 to whatever amount. Every person that comes in is going to pay $8 just for coming in. But then if they go on one ride, it's going to cost $1.50. If they go on 2 rides, it's going to cost $3. If they go on 3 rides, it's going to cost $4.50. 4 rides, $6, etc. But we have to just remember that we have this plus $8. It's a constant term. It's always going to be there because every person's going to have to pay $8 for going into the carnival. Okay, so how did we get from 1 to 150, or from 2 to $3, or 3 to $4.50? What's happening every time? Well, for each of these, we are multiplying to get from 1 to 150. It's either adding 0.50 or we're multiplying by $1.50. To get from 2 to $3, we're either adding 1, which is different, so it's not that, or multiplying by 1.5 again. So each time it's 1.5 times the x, but we cannot forget to add in the $8 that everyone's going to have to pay as well. So as an equation, we write this as a function, f of x instead of y equals 1.5x plus 8. Okay, example 4, evaluate each function for the given input values. So for f of x, negative 4x plus 7, we want to find each value. Well, they're saying f of 2. What that means is that in the x spot, put a 2. Okay, so you're not doing anything on the left-hand side. We're just saying, this is telling me that we're placing a 2 in for x. And so I do negative 4, place my 2 in for x, plus 7. And then we calculate. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 plus 7. And then negative 8 plus 7 is negative 1. Remember, I'm using PEMDAS here. And so in the end, it equals negative 1. The best way to write that would be f of 2. When I put 2 in for x, I get negative 1. Okay, and so same thing for f of negative 3 plus 1. What that's saying is I'm going to place negative 3 in for x, and when I'm done with that, I'm going to then add 1 at the end. So what that would look like is taking the original f of x equals negative 4x plus 7 from what they asked us to do in the beginning, and then placing in the negative 3 in for x, and remembering to add 1 when we're done. So I'm doing negative 4 times the negative 3 for the x, writing all of that first, and when I'm done, I'm going to be adding 1 to it. So f of negative 3 plus 1, I actually don't need to write that anymore. I can just write equals and start calculating using PEMDAS. So negative 4 times negative 3 is positive 12. And then I'm going to do what's in the brackets next. 12 plus 7 is 19. I don't need those brackets there anymore, but it doesn't really matter. And 19 plus 1 is 20. So when I placed in the negative 3 and added 1 to it, I ended up with 20. And so that's our final answer. Okay, so for h of 4, what that means is I'm going to be placing in the 4 into the y spot of this equation. So 3/4, let me write this, h of 4 is equal to 3/4 times, I'm placing that in for y, minus 3. So this equals, well, 3/4 times 4 is 3 minus 3, which is 0. And so my final answer would be h of 4 equals 0. And for h of 12, it's the same thing. So h of 12 equals, I'm taking this function right here, so 3/4, replacing the y with 12 minus 3. h of 12 equals 3/4 times 12, which is 9, minus 3. And h of 12, I didn't need to write that every time, but h of 12 equals 6, and so that's my final answer. For example 5, I would start making an XY table. So it says Manuel has already sold $20 worth of tickets for the school play. So he's already sold $20, so I'm just going to put that off on the side. That's my constant that I'm going to add at the end. He has 4 tickets left to sell at $2.50 per ticket. So if he sells 1 of them, he'll make another $2.50. If he sells 2 of them, it'll be $5. 3 of them will be $7.50, and 4 of them $10. So as a function, what's happening from the x to the y every time is that we're multiplying by 250. So we're taking the x value and we're multiplying by 250 to get the y value, plus we're adding $20 each time. So an acceptable domain would be that he could sell 0 tickets, 1, 2, 3, or 4. And the acceptable range would be, he's already, for 0, he still made $20, but if he sells 1 of them, it's going to be $22.50. 2 of them would be $25, 3 of them would be $27.50, and 4 of them would be $30.